Live. Should say recordings.
So I'm going to call the Madison Public Schools Finance Committee to order. It's Tuesday, September 28th. And we will get started with the 2022-2023 budget calendar, which is in your packet. I think. Dr. Cook, do you have anything?
Yeah, just wanted to mention all the items 1, 2, 3 are looking at next year's budget. We wanted to share with the committee where we're at to this point, and then under other, I just got a report on a couple things related to this year. The board got their financial report last meeting, but just want to give you an update on a couple things of where we are for this current year. Hard to believe we're starting looking at next year's budget in September, but it's important to do so, as we have a few other things on our plate this fall, and it's good to get ahead of the game. And so
Hi, Stacy.
Stacy's with us as well. So Stacy, did you want to walk the committee through the calendar? Just
sure. I'll try to share my screen. Good?
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. So internally, we've had a couple of meetings. COAT has met twice discussing the budget calendar, as well as a very, very, very initial discussion on budget assumptions. And then the calendar was also shared with admin council last week. So here we are to tonight, where we're sharing the proposed calendar with you all to hopefully move forward with it. COAT will meet again next Monday and continue the discussion on the budget assumptions. And then we will share that with admin council next Wednesday, and then bring it back to you hopefully on October 12th. And that is not a scheduled meeting. So these lines or these rows that are in yellow will need to be added to your meeting schedule if that works. And of course, you have time. Let us know, let Wendy know if dates don't work or if you want something different, and we could try to modify it as much as we can to work with everybody's schedule. And then also, I'm sorry.
Just to confirm with you, those two dates are October 12th.
Yep.
And the 4th or the 6th? The other ones look like they're admin council.
Yep. So when we get to the 12th,
Yep.
that's when it comes to the finance committee.
Right.
And then also that night is a Board of Ed meeting. So I do not believe finance has a meeting that night. So if we can add that, and then we will also share that with the full Board of Ed that evening.
Okay.
And then we have a couple of weeks. And then on November 9th, we would come back to the finance committee, approve the calendar. So you do have some time to make some changes. The sooner the better, just so we know and we can button it down. And then we will discuss the budget assumptions again that night as well with the Board of Ed. So the full Board of Ed will see them twice.
So Dr. Cook, is this calendar in the board packet today, or can we get it to them after tonight's meeting? I don't think I have a committee report, so I just want to make sure they are aware that we might be having a meeting in October.
Yes, we can send that out.
Okay. My other question, Stacy, about the calendar. So on November 9th, there's a finance committee meeting and then a Board of Ed meeting. My understanding is that new board members will be sworn in on the 8th, on Monday morning. So I just wanted to just confirm with you that you think that's okay the very next day that we are approving, or if you think the board will need more time. Dr. Cook, you can answer.
So one of my questions for, I know you could probably help me out with this, Katie, but I was going to ask the executive committee as well, was could we potentially do the organizational meeting on the 8th after the swearing in ceremony, and then appoint committees, elect the chair, and then be ready to go on the 9th, because we also have some building referendum work to do on the 9th.
So potentially adding organizational meeting the evening of the 9th or 8th.
And if everybody is coming in for the swearing-in ceremony, we could do that in the morning. Yeah.
Okay. Additionally, people who are working will
We'll just
get sworn in on their own.
Gotcha. Okay.
But so that's
So we
definitely
could do
something
that
we should
either.
run
Yeah.
by
Can,
pretty quickly after the election.
Sure.
I can't hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. Katie, thank you for handling this meeting. If you'd like, I can take over if you want.
I'm the chair of the finance committee.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. No.
That's okay.
I'll back up. So with regards to the October 12th meeting, the Board of Ed meeting, and budget assumptions, Stacy, would it be possible to get information prior to that so that we can review it?
Yeah, so we have a couple of meetings internally. So as long as we're, comfortable, we can certainly send any information that's going to be on the agenda in advance of the agenda.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Other than that, I think the calendar seemed like it makes a lot of sense, gives a lot of opportunity for input.
Yeah, it seems to mirror somewhat what we did last year as well, which I think we put some work on. And I think just to confirm, for the month of October, then the Finance Committee would meet on October 12th and then again on October 26th. Am I correct on that?
No, because we do have a scheduled meeting on the 26th.
Yeah.
Stacy at 5:30.
Oh, great. Yep.
So maybe that solves that problem.
Yeah, we can certainly do that.
Does that give you enough time if we switch the 12th to the 26th?
Yeah, I think so. That should be fine. Yep.
Okay, good catch.
So are we not doing the 12th?
Yeah, we'll change it to the 26th.
Okay,
I'll send a revision
Great,
to you all when we're done.
thank you. And you might as well send it to the full board too.
Okay.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions, Christine or Tom, about the calendar?
No.
All these TBDs are Board of Finance, that's those dates, correct?
Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance, and it's a little early. It's a little early on the town side right now. So
Sure.
within the next month and a half, they'll set their calendar, and then we'll modify this calendar.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so moving on to item number 2, the 2022-2023 budget discussion.
Yeah, so just from my perspective, I was involved prior to starting, but started in early December, and the board had waited for some discussions until I started, so I appreciated that. Excited that we'll get many of those discussions started earlier. As Stacy mentioned, we are starting to get going on the assumptions. We're looking at, a number of different areas that we're seeing some increases in, such as energy costs, particularly natural gas and potentially electricity. Although we're working on, working hard to offset that with solar panels and other savings. And then as well, insurance, we're watching very closely our health insurance. We've had several years of very positive experience. We all know that COVID delayed many doctor's appointments, and sometimes that takes a little while to catch up. And so we're tracking that very closely. We have some hiring savings, so savings from unexpected staff leaving or some retirements, more retirements than we expected at the end of last year. So that will be applied in the salary count towards next year and help offset any increases in that account. So we're very early on. We're really projecting now almost 2 years ahead in terms of where we need to land for June of 2023. with a budget, but we are being very cognizant that we'll have a building project going to referendum and how that all intersects with our budget and the town budget. And so, we're hopeful we can come in at a lower number that will be acceptable to the board and ultimately the Board of Finance and then the community through voting process. So it's been, like I said, helpful to get started early. And as I'm meeting with principals, they are working with their staffs in the schools to make sure that they reach the teacher level and other employees throughout the organization to make sure that they have a say in what we should be putting forward for our budget request. The high school oftentimes does many shifts within departments to accomplish needs that they have within their various departments, same at the middle school. So we're working through that now. I just wanted to share that. In terms of the grant funding, we had a significant increase in grant funding through the ESSER grants, and as the board has seen, we kind of graduate the money spent on that. And so this year there'll be 2 elementary teacher positions that will not be continued that were in for this year. And again, we're trying to avoid that cliff where the grant just ends and we're out of money. But so this year we're taking off 2 teaching positions, and there were several one-time expenditures that we'll remove, and so that will give us some savings. Christine, I will send you the grant expenditures so you have that and can see. And I'm happy to have a conversation with you about that to show the thought process. But we looked at an increase that did materialize in kindergarten throughout our schools. So we added a kindergarten teacher to both elementary schools, which was needed and beneficial so far. So we'll look at how our organization will look. We've already looked at the class matrices for next year and how it will look taking those 2 teachers out of the organization. Stacy, did I miss anything on that end?
I don't think so. I think the only other thing that's coming, or the big thing that's coming in for next year's budget, is a decrease in the debt service as well. So we'll see that being part of the budget, which is about $450,000.
And then, are we done? When
No, there's a couple of years left. There's another big drop the following year,
Close.
and then we'll be done.
My other question is, do you have any projections on healthcare? How are we looking at this point, or is it way too early?
It's too early. We did have a meeting that our claims are higher than usual. So we are anticipating that it will not be as favorable as it was the last couple of years. So, but it is too early. We're going to meet in the beginning of November to get better numbers.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we've been really lucky. Do you have any questions?
Just one, Dr. Cook, you on the assumptions for the hiring savings, is that it's on the staff side?
Yes.
The teachers.
Yes.
Yep. What level, high school?
All over so we had a few unexpected resignations, retirements. And so as we've gone through that process, we've ended up hiring on the lower end of the salary scale. So, a teacher leaving at 95,000, unexpectedly, and then we're hiring back, somebody at 50. And so, had several of those. As the board's aware, we've had a challenge with our salary schedule that we are very competitive at the top, but not as competitive in the middle. And we've lost some teachers to that over the last few years. We're trying to address that. Yeah.
Christine, do you have any questions on that item?
Not right now. No, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so then moving on to item number 3.
Sure.
22-23 budget expenditure.
I kind of covered that in 2. Just the recognition that there's other needs in town, and we're trying to be cognizant of the building project and where that lands. As Stacy mentioned, we are achieving some debt service savings based on the bonding for the high school decreasing. And so that's a positive news and will help us offset any other increases.
So we're not asking for an expenditure. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, no.
Okay, good. Good. And then Stacy, this is kind of off subject, but have we closed the books yet?
We have not. We have not. We're still kind of plugging along. The auditors come in the 3rd and 4th week of October. So but we're looking on target. I believe the last time I looked, we were looking at a little over 300,000 of underspent
Great.
budgeted funds.
Great. That's pretty darn close for a budget of this size. I think.
Definitely, it's pennies.
Yeah, right? Okay.
Stacy, the audit process itself would take how long from start to finish?
Usually we get it in December, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
But I'll have a better idea once they're out. I don't expect any changes. I haven't looked at the official numbers. That's why I wouldn't want to
Sure.
give you a definite, but I don't expect any changes from where we are. So at our next meeting, I could give you better solid numbers.
Yeah, no, that's helpful. I was just thinking about time frame too. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I could definitely give you a better update next time. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
So your office is nice and quiet now, right?
Totally, as always.
You weren't at our last meeting, but it was nice to see the Munis report.
Oh, good.
Yes, progress, which is
It
awesome.
took us a little while to figure it out, though.
Yeah, well, thanks for all your hard work on that. It was easy to read. Any other items, Christine or Tom?
Just a thought. So when the audit is complete in December, is that then brought to the board for presentation as well?
No, it is just brought to the Board of Finance.
Anything else? I'm just taking this. The only other question I had was, we're not, according to the agenda, we're not doing committee reports. Should I get the minutes to the rest of the board so they know about these meeting changes? Can you incorporate that in your?
We can incorporate that in our calendar invites and also significant dates, and then we'll
And then
have
we're
committee
sending them the calendar.
reports for this
Great.
meeting too.
Awesome, thank you. Is there anything else?
Under other, I just wanted to
Yes.
share, so Christine, last year we lost approximately $350,000 in food service. We do not participate in the school food lunch program, but and so therefore, as most districts had their losses covered by the school food lunch program, we did not, and so we experienced some losses in that area. Even though our students are all back in, and definitely the purchasing is up. We still have less students and a higher food cost. So we're watching that very closely, but we're pleased where we are right now in terms of sales at the cafeteria level. So you'll hear us throughout the year track that very closely, much closer than other districts typically do, because we are part of the school food lunch program. But we, our students are doing a much better start with fully in. Last year when we were hybrid at the high school for more than half the year, that certainly cut down on sales, which is where most of our sales come from.
What is the total amount contract for food service for outsourcing the food? How much is that contract?
Sure.
It's not a set amount. I mean, they bill us per the purchases, the food, and the activity and the all the expenses in there. There's a few employees. So I don't know the exact amount that they charge per year, but the contract is not a set amount, but I can certainly get last year's total of what we paid Chartwell's for you if you'd like.
So Chartwell's we don't have a contract, or we didn't go.
We absolutely have a contract. It's just not a set amount that we pay them.
Okay.
per year.
The employees are ours, so it's a kind of a managed service contract.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they have one or two that are theirs, but yeah, the majority are the district's employees.
And when
But
is
I
that?
can get you what we did the last full fiscal year of what we paid them.
That would be great. How long was that contract for?
I think we usually do 3-year contracts.
It's 3 years.
Yeah.
I hate to ask, but what year are we in right now? Do we know?
Oh, boy, I don't know if we're in the second or third right now.
It's either second or third for sure.
Okay.
My guess, if I was a guessing gambling person, we were in the second because we're not talking about going out to RFP right now.
Yes.
So, but we do, follow that process.
Are there any members of the public that have any comments or questions for the committee? Sounds like no. Okay. As long as there is nothing else, we can adjourn in record time at 5:51. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Have a great night.
It's coming. Awesome.